Hello, today is my 32nd birthday. Usually, my wife and I will do tarot readings or something along those lines to do a little bit of soul searching or insights into, um, what the future might bring. So today, I thought it would be interesting to go and buy a pack of Lorcana cards, a pack of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and a pack of Pokemon cards. I haven't bought a pack of cards in a very long time, so I thought that it'd bring a little bit of nostalgia, and I thought it could be fun to see if I could give myself a reading. In front of me are the chase cards from the pack, so I've already opened them, but I'm going to show you the pack opening and show you the cards and then talk a little bit about the lore to each of the cards that I pulled and then do my reading at the end.
All right, so first we're going to open the Lorcana cards. This is the first pack that I've ever actually opened. I've seen them at the store, but never bought one before. My wife is a big Disney fan, so I thought it'd be fun. Got TikTok, Gunther, Hans from Frozen, Madrigal from Encanto, the Plank, Yao, from Mulan. I do love Mulan. Mickey Mouse, classic. Flotsam and Jetsam. Flounder from Little Mermaid. Golden Harp. Imperial Proclamation. And our chase card is Ama Madrigal from Encanto. In the movie, she acts as the antagonist, where she has a burden of responsibility in leading her family and her village, and that causes her to lose sight of what's important to her, which is her family. So since she showed up in this reading today, the card could represent that maybe we're holding on too tight to responsibility and legacy. She might require us to look closer at family dynamics or any relationship in general, such as, are we trying to uphold a sense of something and losing sight of what might be important to us? Is it possible that we are blind to the stifling that we're causing others? Also, the number 13 here is tied with transformation cycles and deeper truths. So overall, this card kind of reminds us that if we're going to step into leadership roles, it requires us to sometimes let go of past and for the greater good. Okay, the second pack that I'm going to open is a Yu-Gi-Oh pack, which is probably my favorite trading card game out of all of them. Just because I collected these a lot when I was young. The first card here is Bazu, the Soul Eater. I used to play that card when I was in middle school, I remember. Blaster, Dragon Ruler of Infernos. Never seen that card before, but it definitely has some cool artwork to it. Polymerization, classic from the show. Schuberta, the Melodious Maestra. Now this one has an interesting foil to it. I'm not sure if it's the chase card, but I think that I'm going to use that for the reading. Now, I couldn't find this card anywhere in any of the shows, but I'm sure it's no pathetic card. So in terms of a reading, this card definitely has a more musical and harmonious element to it. I saw that this card is Schuberta, based on Franz Schubert as a composer, so it makes sense that it has this kind of musical theme. Schuberta is also a light type, which can be associated with clarity and truth. And then also the effect is kind of interesting because it cleanses the graveyard and powers this card up. So in summary of this card, maybe we find ourselves burdened by the past, but Schuberta calls on using harmony to kind of transform ourselves, identify what is no longer needed in the graveyard as an example, put it out of sight, put it out of mind, but use its lessons to help make ourselves stronger. Alright, the last pack is Pokémon, which is a classic. This is definitely from middle school. I don't think anyone ever knew how to play the game, but they like to collect the cards because they like to play the games and the show. Alright, we're starting off with a fire. This is going to be good. Slugma. Slugma? Solosis? Scyther. Ooh, Scyther's one of my favorites. Skitty. Golurk. Shaman? Or Shaman? Is it like a shaman? Cypher Maniac's Codebreaker. Grubbin, a little worm. Bronzer, the gong. And ooh, Iron Valiant. Iron Valiant is the hollow that we got here. It's got a nice shine to it. So Iron Valiant is a futuristic Pokemon that comes from the future. It's very robotic looking. It's actually based on two Pokemon, Gallade and Gardevoir. So some futuristic mad scientist took the idea of them and then created a robot pal out of them. Okay, so Iron Valiant showing up in the reading clearly signifies looking to the future. More so foresight and psychic typing kind of represents that mental clarity and intuition. The moves here are kind of interesting because it's all about foresight and preparation, looking ahead, and then also if you are actually doing the futuristic stuff, then the damage output is a lot more, so it's more helpful if you take the time to prepare for the future. The weakness typing here symbolizes vulnerability to fixed structures because it's weak to steel, so maybe fixed structures that hinder progress. But in general, if we use Iron Valiant as something that we want to embrace, he or she can represent the path to future enlightenment. So we need to align and prepare for the future by looking inward, to meditate, reflect, connect to our inner wisdom, and then through that we can understand the steps that we need to take to become better. So combining our intuition with the futuristic action planning, that is how we will achieve our potential.
So this was an interesting exercise to open each of them and kind of try to understand a little bit more about what each card represents. I already went through each of the individual cards, so now I'm going to kind of read them overall. I thought it was interesting that I pulled Alma Madrigal first, because she kind of, based on the movie, represents a little bit more of focus on the past. So she's a leader, she has responsibility. These are kind of keywords for her, and it definitely represents a little bit of what I'm currently going through or recently went through. I recently took on some more responsibility at work. So she kind of represents a little bit more of the leadership aspect. She could also represent family. Family is also something that recently had a son. So that's also something that she could represent. She has the number 13 or 1-3 on it, and 1 is often kind of associated with individuality and leadership, whereas 3 is about community and creativity. And then together it's a 13 is kind of a transformational number. Schuberta, I have really never seen this Yu-Gi-Oh card before, so it was a little bit of a kind of interesting thing to read. The main thing that I get from her is that she is very musically inclined, so I kind of think harmonious or harmony with her. I think it's also interesting that her effect is to banish cards from the graveyard and powering her up. So to me, it's kind of like bury the past a little bit, or let go of the past, maybe, is a better way of putting it. And that will help the present situation. Iron Valiant is kind of a futuristic card, so I think it's interesting that it's kind of like past, present, and future, and I pulled them in that order. So futuristic and psychic, so I look to this card as being more along the lines of focus on your intuition, focus on the psychic aspect of what I have within me, to help out my future. Some of these abilities that this card has is about being prepared, or doing, as you prepare, you have more ability to output more damage in this case, or more power, if we're being a little bit more abstract. So together, these cards to me represent past, present, future, and it's about making sure that I'm not focusing too much on tradition or past. I need to be able to be more transformative. So don't get caught up too much in the past, and focus on my own creativity, my own harmonious and balance, to help me out in the present, and then in the future, focus on my own intuition, and that will help me with where I'm trying to go. So yeah, I thought that this was an interesting exercise. I might continue to do more of these as well in the future. So if you're interested, subscribe.